without a net. I don't fucking back down and I fight to win. Wow, this is one of the best ones. The world is being killed. 200 species went extinct today. 200 species will go extinct tomorrow. There are stolid scientists who are saying the oceans could be devoid of fish and by 2050. Things are bad. And one of the reasons that I've had the analysis that I have is because when I was a baby activist, so many environmentalists, would be just, and they would talk about this in private, but not in public, but they would say that they were holding on by their fingernails, just hoping and praying that some creature, some place might survive until civilization crashes. And I remember thinking, it's not good enough for me that bull trout or Selkirk caribou or Kootenai sturgeon, just a few more generations live out harried lives before we ultimately exterminate them. That's not good enough for me. And I think part of the reason that the world's being killed, of course, is the dominant culture grinds away, and there's all sorts of reasons being killed that we can talk about. The magnificent bribe that Mumford talked about. But another reason is that, it's like David Brower said, that all of our victories are temporary and our losses are permanent. And one of the side effects of that is it has made it so often we will consider our losses victories. So when a timber company wants to clear cut 15,000 acres and we go in and fight them and we end up making it so instead they quote only end quote get to clear cut 7,500, we call this a victory. And it is a victory. You saved 7,500, but you know what? You didn't save the other 7,500. And that's 7,500 acres of old growth that are, in human terms and in realistic terms, gone forever. Because you don't make old growth forest in 5 years. You don't make old growth forest in 500 years, really, because in a lot of places, 500 years, let's say one of the trees there, let's say a species of tree, it lives to be 1,000 years old. You haven't even gone through one full lifetime yet in 500 years. And let's say that after it dies, and we all know, or we should know, that dead standing trees are more important to forests than live standing trees in terms of habitat. And so after, let's say the tree lives 1,000 years, and let's say it takes another, just to make the math easy, another 1,000 years to decay. Well, in 500 years, you haven't even gone 1/4 of the way through the carbon cycle. You haven't even had one tree grow to be an adult, die, and then completely return to the soil and start over. And I have, one of the things that has motivated my work so much and has motivated, I've had a few people interview me over the years where they start to do the interview in person, and about 5 minutes into the interview, they just start laughing. And I said, "What are you laughing at?" And they say, "We thought you were going to be like this crazy man who we come in to interview and you're like spitting and pounding on the table and screaming and frothing at the mouth because your work is so like direct and seems very angry. And you're not angry at all. You seem like a nice person." It's like, yeah, I am a nice person. I just don't want the world to be murdered. It's the only planet that we know of in the entire universe that has life. And I think it's a damn shame to destroy it. And so I've talked for a long time about how there's a difference between those who are angry at injustice and those who are angry and they find an injustice onto which to project their anger. And I'm not an angry person in general. And I don't even think that my books are that angry, except I guess when I call CEOs nasty ass motherfuckers, but we'll leave that aside. It's just, I know that if I were being tortured and killed like the world is being tortured and killed, and this is what I think about all the time when I'm writing, and all the time when I'm not writing, I would want somebody to step up and to help me. You know, we often talk about the importance of being a voice for the voiceless. And I think that's true, but I think it's also false in some ways, in that I don't think it's true that bowhead whales don't have a voice. I don't think it's true the various migratory songbirds don't have voices. I don't think it's true that redwood trees don't have a voice. I think what's true is that we don't listen to them. We don't pay attention to them. We don't, for the most part, we collectively don't care about their suffering or extirpation. And so because we don't listen to them, I think somebody whose voice that we do listen to needs to be saying that we need to stop killing them. And I think that if I were being tortured and killed, I would want someone whose voice they listen to perhaps more than mine to speak up. And the tone that I would want that person to take as they were trying to defend me is, I don't fucking back down and I fight to win.